This is Charleston's retirement coach, Brandon Bowen.
And I'm Heather Branch here with Brandon, talking about the things you can be working on now to better prepare for your financial future. BowenWealth.com is where you can start your own conversation with Brandon about your customized retirement plan. We also have links posted in the show notes, or again, visit us anytime at BowenWealth.com. So, Mr. Bowen, you're never going to guess what I want to talk to you about today. You'll never guess.
Has there been anything going on in the market?
I don't know if there's anything going on. I mean, as if political chaos wasn't enough with the upcoming election.
Oh, boy.
Let's just go ahead and throw some market turmoil into the mix, just for kicks.
Yeah. Let's do it. Because that's why people are listening right now.
Right.
That's why they are tuned in.
I know. And that's why you're here, Charleston's retirement coach, helping to give us some perspective, particularly for folks that are close to or in retirement. Mm-hmm. It's so important to have an understanding, have a plan, have some realistic expectations. So let's go ahead and dive in. Obviously, we've been seeing some considerable pullbacks in the market. It's just some ups and downs. I think that probably it's not even that abnormal. We've just been so spoiled by the past decade plus of the bull runs we've seen. So there is speculation, of course. Why is this happening? Some people are saying unemployment rate, that came in at 4.3%. Earnings reports from some of the big tech companies, NVIDIA and Amazon and Intel, they're all down. Here was Steve Sosnick on CNBC just recently and what he had to say.
Right now, you want something that's a bit recession-proof, because the bond market, with the moves that we're seeing, they're screaming at us right now to tell us that they think we're looking at a recession. So this sort of bodes for a bit more of a defensive posture until we can really see if this is a temporary storm or bumpy landing, so to speak, or if it is indeed a harder landing.
Bond markets are screaming at us. Other people are screaming for the Fed to cut rates by 50 basis points. Brandon, I'm mocking all of us that are because let's seek some calm amongst all this chaos. From your perspective, well, let's talk about what's going on. How are we dealing with it? How can we be adding security to our plans?
Yes. And let me first acknowledge those feelings that you're probably having. They are very real.
Sure.
That's your emotion. That's your fear, right? And so I feel my job is to help you put a plan together where the news and the headlines, good, bad, or indifferent, whatever they're saying on Fox Business or CNBC or whatever, the red headline, and it's just scrolling across, right? I want that to not really even matter to you, okay?
Yep.
I want your blood pressure to stay low. I want you to quickly think back to the plan you have in place, okay? And if your stress is going higher right now, that's a number one sign that you don't have the plan that I'm talking about, okay? Okay. So let me speak to the listeners. Like you just said, Heather, if you're within 5 years of retirement or if you're already retired, okay? That's who I'm talking to. If you're not in that group, if you're younger, if you're still working, then, pick up the phone. I've got a different strategy for you.
Okay.
But I want to speak to those who are maybe, you can count the number of years left to work on one hand, right? I got one more year, Brandon. I got 3, unless you can work some magic, I will leave right now.
Yep.
It's those people, or you've already retired, you moved here to Charleston or whatever, and you are trying to enjoy retirement, but you can't because you're stressed about money and running out of money in market crashes. Okay. You listen up. Okay. So in the past, during your working years, you were overweight growth and risk. Okay. Because you had to, you needed to grow this money. You had to take the risk. You had to, not worry about when the markets went up and down. But now you must overweight safety and income. And if you've heard my show a lot or my podcast, you know that I like to say that purpose determines placement. And what I mean by that is the purpose of this money should determine where you put it, because all this stuff that we invest in, they're just tools. Okay. They're just tools. And as we know, tools do very specific things, right? There's all kind of different tools.
Just the screwdrivers. You need like 5 different kinds of screwdrivers.
Oh my gosh. Yes. Yeah. So they all do different things. Okay. So there's no perfect tool. You need a bunch of tools. So in retirement, right, we need to look at our tools.
Yep.
Okay. And then make sure we adjust what we're using for retirement. Okay.
Okay.
And so we don't just put our money in maybe the stuff that Warren Buffett said he holds. All right.
Right.
You might have heard, Warren Buffett.
Warren Buffett said.
Yeah. Well, in fact, I did hear a good Warren Buffett quote.
Yeah.
Let me tell it to you. It says, he said at a conference, he goes, if you're concerned about a market crash, you shouldn't own stocks.
Warren Buffett himself.
Warren Buffett. If you're concerned about a market crash, you shouldn't own stocks.
There it is.
And I was like, whoa, when you think about it, but what he's getting at is so, so true, because he says, okay, they're going to do what stocks do. Okay.
Yep.
So what I want to do, in your mind here, as you're listening, I want you to picture 3 buckets that we're going to fill up with your life savings. Okay. Mm-hmm. Also, somehow envision like a waterfall effect, where we have to fill up the first bucket before it overflows into bucket number 2. Okay. Does that make sense?
Yep.
It's like a progressive system here where it overflows into 2. Then once we fill up 2, then it overflows into 3. Okay. That's what, and the reason that we're doing this, the reason that this is so different is because during those working years, right, we needed that growth. But what's different in retirement is now we need income. We need steady withdrawals from this portfolio. They need to be consistent. And that's why a market crash can be deadly to your probability of success. Okay.
Yep.
So we've got to position our money here for income. And that is the very first bucket. Okay. So on this first bucket, if you grab a pen, I want you to write on this first bucket, safety and income. Okay. The first bucket's going to say safety and income. Also, we are going to start accessing this money immediately. Okay. What we put in here immediately, maybe within 5 years. Okay. So this is money that we are going to touch first, whatever goes into this first bucket. All right. And also, before you come in and meet with me, you can do the math. And if you calculate for me what your expenses are, maybe, and I'm talking about just your standard of living. Okay. Calculate your standard of living, your dignity. If you know what that is, I can go ahead and do the math and tell you how much do we need in this first bucket. Okay. It's pretty cool. So if you might say, Brandon, you know what? We did our plan here. We did our budget and we need $5,000 a month. That's going to pay the mortgage, our transportation. We can pay for our cell phone, our, cable, whatever, the stuff that you need, your dignity that you want to know that you're always going to have. If you tell me what you need, I can then go to work and find out, okay, how much do we need to put there? But this money, this is important. This money here is not going to be affected by market losses. Okay. So when we have crashes, this money is still sitting there safe. It's like the vision of like, okay, it's on dry land. It's not out in a hurricane, out in these huge waves and storms and scariness and no thank you. And this money, it's on a lighthouse. Okay. This money is not affected by the storm. Okay.
Yep.
So now this might also be all of someone's money. Okay. Right. It depends. If we need this income here, and it might take all of what you have. If you have, $300,000, that, it might all need to be here in this bucket. Okay. We got to make sure we have enough liquidity. But yeah. So then, okay, if we can fill up all that bucket, now we start overflowing into number 2. Okay. And now right on there, moderate growth. This is money that we are going to touch maybe in 5 or 10 years from now. Okay. Okay.
Yep.
We might touch it in 5 or 10 years. That we're going to look at maybe broad ETFs, Vanguard funds, things like that, maybe blue chip, dividend stocks. It's going to be measured volatility with diversification. Okay. Now this bucket here, it will move with the market, right? But do we need this money right now? Let me ask you, Heather, do we need this money right now? If it sells off a little bit, do we need it?
No.
No, because we won't need it for maybe 5 years from now. Okay.
Yep.
So that's going to give us time, but we're not going to sell when we're fearful. Okay. This money. Right. So that should help you through these moments.
Yeah.
And then bucket number 3, you can write on there maximum risk and growth potential.
Okay.
I don't know. So maybe put sexy growth.
Sexy growth. I like that bucket.
Yes. Can I say that? This is the fun stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. This is sexy growth. This is this is money here. This is our legacy. Maybe our gifting. Like I said, it's the fun stuff. This is a tax-free Roth IRA. Maybe. Okay. It's single stock exposure. You might be overweight in your growth. Tech sector, AI disruptors, maybe crypto or blockchain. Okay, this is the fun stuff, and maybe once it doubles, we start selling some, and right. So that's the fun. It's a part of your legacy right there. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's bucket number 3. So bucket number 2 and 3, those are affected by current market volatility. Okay.
Yep.
Not bucket number 1. But, so can you see how this lowers your stress?
Yeah.
That's how we set up a plan for our clients. In fact, let me be honest real quick. I do have a client. We put this exact plan together, but he emails me super stressed out, right? He's like, I need reassurance. I can't ride this thing all the way down, because he's remembering the past, right? When he was with another advisor out in Phoenix, and he was like, we can't take this down. And so I walked through the plan that we did, why we did purpose determines placement, right? And I talked about, okay, this money that we're going to start here in 2 years, it is not affected right now, right? How does that make you feel? He goes, I like that. I mean, I kind of forgot about that. And I only worry about the stuff in the market. I was like, I know that, but we're not touching that money for a while, right?
Yep.
So I walked him through all that stuff. He's like, Brent, I just want to make sure that my wife is taken care of. That's why I'm stressed. We went through like 2 market crashes. I didn't have money before those, but that was so scary. And now we've got money. And I needed to hear all this again. And I was like, I get it. That's why I'm here. It's like a you're flying. I just went on a trip, and, you start hitting some turbulence, right? Ava was sitting next to me on this trip. We were coming back from Europe, and, you start bumping and shaking, and her eyes go really big, like when she was a little girl, It's like, she looks at me, and then what happens? It goes, boom, the seatbelt comes on, and this is your captain speak. He just speaks to it. He goes, just go ahead and buckle your seatbelts here. We're going to climb to 35,000 feet. There's a little smoother air up there, no problem. And I saw Ava she kind of leaned back again, and she felt better.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what I do. That's what we do here, is we reassure you, okay, we're making these small adjustments, but our plan in place, that is not going anywhere. That's what you can have that confidence in.
Right.
Okay. So if you know that you need this plan in place right now, it's past time to put this plan into place, head on over to bowenwealth.com and click on the contact tab so we can begin a conversation with you right now.
Thanks for listening to Charleston's Retirement Coach Podcast with Brandon Bowen. To learn more, visit bowenwealth.com and join Brandon for his radio show, Charleston's Retirement Coach, Saturdays at 11 a.m. on 94.3 WSC.
Financial professionals are not licensed in all 50 states. To find out if J. Brandon Bowen is licensed in your state, please call 843-203-2030. J. Brandon Bowen is an investment advisor representative of Bowen Wealth, LLC, a registered investment advisor. Exposure to ideas and financial vehicles discussed should not be considered investment advice or recommendation to buy or sell any financial vehicle. Past performance is not a guarantee of future results. Investments can fluctuate, and when redeemed may be worth more or less than when originally invested. J. Brandon Bowen is not affiliated with nor endorsed by the Social Security Administration or any other government agency, and does not provide legal or tax advice. Annuity guarantees rely solely on the financial strength and claims paying ability of the issuing insurance company. By contacting us, you may be provided with information about insurance and annuity products offered through Bowen Wealth, LLC, insurance licensed in South Carolina. Market Guard is a registered investment advisor with the SEC and provides model portfolios only to Impact Partnership Wealth. Market Guard makes no implied warranties or representations and is not liable for any data presented.